The ground is shifting, and it is not subtle anymore. No group of Muslims, no land, was ever guaranteed permanent leadership over the Ummah. It was promised accountability. Allah never tied Islam to blood, geography, flags, or dynasties. He tied it to obedience, courage, and truth. And when those die, leadership dies with them. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Quran, Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The best jihad is a word of truth spoken before a tyrant ruler." Sunan, An-Nasa'i, 4209. Islam ties honor to courage, not silence, not survival, not convenience. No Arab has superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab over an Arab. No white over black, nor black over white, except by taqwa. Musnad Ahmad, 23,489. That sermon was the burial of racial, national, and dynastic Islam. And if you turn away, he will replace you with another people, then they will not be like you. Quran, Surah Muhammad, verse 38. This verse annihilates every illusion of guaranteed leadership. The Prophet ﷺ warned, "There will be rulers after me who tell lies and oppress. Whoever believes their lies and assists them in their oppression does not belong to me, and I do not belong to him." Musnad Ahmad, 23,260. Political authority is not moral authority. Power is not legitimacy. History is not whispering anymore, it is shouting. Once Islam stood on Arab shoulders until arrogance and tribalism hollowed them out. Then Persians, once Zoroastrians and polytheists far from the Arab heartland, gradually understood and embraced Islam and rose through knowledge. Then Turks, born in the Central Asian steppes as non-Muslims, following Tengriism and shamanistic practices, embraced Islam and rose to uphold the faith. Then Berbers, once tribal pagans and Christians and never Arabs, gradually embraced Islam and revived law across North Africa and Al-Andalus. Then even the Mongols, followers of Tengriism and shamanistic practices, destroyers of vast swaths of the Muslim world, rose from devastation to devotion, embracing Islam, restoring cities, trade and institutions where Muslims had faltered, and Allah elevated them into leaders and guardians of the Muslim world. Then the Mughals, born from Turco-Mongol steppes and once followers of Tengrisism and shamanistic traditions, embraced Islam and rose over a vast, non-Muslim land, creating one of the largest, wealthiest and longest-lasting empires in the world, and the most remarkable Muslim empire of its time, spreading law, scholarship, Sufism and Islamic civilization across the subcontinent. This is not metaphor. This is precedent. Allah warned every time, and He is warning again. When Muslims speak of justice but refuse its price. When leaders invoke Islam yet bow to oppressors. When scholars are muted, conscience is criminalized and tyranny is marketed as stability. Leadership is already void, even if palaces still stand. And now, look carefully, look at who is standing in the streets, who is bleeding for Palestine, who is losing livelihoods, reputations, safety, not for tribe or gain, but for justice and truth. Look at the West, a world long conditioned to submission through pressure, money, fear, and political blackmail. Entire systems bent, entire vocabularies censored, entire leaders trained to kneel. But what is happening now is not mere protest. It is defiance. They are not only condemning Israel, they are confronting their own governments. They understand what many Muslims refuse to face, that Gaza is not only destroyed by Israel, it is enabled by states that arm it, fund it, shield it, and rewrite law to protect it. They know their governments supply the weapons. They know their taxes fund the bombs. They know their leaders bend laws, censor speech, redefine genocide, and suspend principles, all for Israel. And so they push back. They name genocide where they were told to say self-defense. They call apartheid what was declared untouchable. They expose foreign lobbies where silence was enforced. They challenge power directly in universities, workplaces, parliaments, and streets. They take the beatings, they accept arrest, they lose jobs, they are blacklisted, smeared, surveilled. They are punished not for chaos, but for clarity. Now look again and compare. In many Muslim-majority states, Muslims also protest. But they stop where Islam never allowed stopping. They chant, but do not confront power. They weep, but do not challenge policy. They condemn Israel, while sparing the governments that enable it. They fear prison, jobs, visas, security files. And so, they negotiate silence. They do not pressure rulers who normalize with Israel. They do not pressure regimes that intercept missiles for Israel. They do not confront regimes that shield Israel militarily or diplomatically. They do not challenge states that criminalize Gaza solidarity while invoking Islam in speeches. The main culprits remain untouched, and courage remains partial. And this is where the Sunnah stands as an accusation. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, "The believers in their mutual love, mercy and compassion are like one body. When one part of the body suffers, the whole body responds with sleeplessness and fever." Sahih al-Bukhari, 6011, Sahih Muslim 2586. And he, Salla lillahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, said, "The believer to another believer is like a building whose different parts strengthen one another." And he interlaced his fingers. Sahih al-Bukhari, 481, Sahih Muslim 2585. Gaza bleeds, and the body does not convulse. A brick is crushed, and the structure does not tighten. Instead, those outside Islam display what unity, sacrifice, and truth to power look like in motion, while those commanded with these standards hesitate, calculate, and remain still. Cracks are now visible in the West. Its citizens are stepping out of line. They are naming what was forbidden to name, defying what was once untouchable, refusing to bow, choosing conscience over career, people over power. That courage did not come from Islam. They do not even claim it. And that is exactly the warning. This does not mean Allah has crowned them. It does not mean leadership has been transferred. It means Allah is exposing decay. Many who stand for Gaza do not yet believe, yet their actions mirror the moral standard Muslims were commanded to embody. While Muslims debate cost, others absorb it. While Muslims calculate risk, others accept consequence. And that is the humiliation. Because when those who do not pray show more courage than those who do, this may or may not be their rise. Allah alone decides whom He raises. But it is unquestionably the exposure of the Muslim Ummah. Allah does not suspend justice to accommodate Muslim weakness. He advances it, with or without them. The Quran already warned, if you turn away, He will replace you with another people, and they will not be like you. Not because they are flawless, but because Muslims failed the test. This is not a declaration of a new ummah. Only Allah appoints leadership. This is a warning before it is taken, an alarm before accountability is enforced. A sign, a mirror, a final call. Leadership in Islam is not inherited, it is earned. And it is stripped the moment it becomes symbolic. So hear this without comfort. This moment is not about praising others. It is a charge sheet against Muslims. Will Islam remain a slogan defended by the fearful, or a weight carried by those willing to bleed for it? Because history has already settled what follows when Muslims choose safety over truth. And Allah has never depended on a people who refuse to live by what they claim to believe.